Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back. Today's Daf Yomi is Nedarim Daf Nun Aleph. We are holding on Nun Amid Beis at the third line from the bottom of the Amid. In yesterday's Daf, we concluded that Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, Rabbi HaKadosh, would exert great effort to keep a solemn mood, be mitztayer, distress himself. As a leader, as a representative of Klal Yisrael, he would maintain this seriousness in commemoration, in honor of the Churban Beis Hamikdash. Bar Kapara, on the other hand, had a good sense of humor, and he would attempt to use his antics to get Rebbe to laugh. He figured a little simcha doesn't hurt. It wasn't just him. We find throughout Shas, others, Levi would do the same. He would do something called Kida, display this interesting gymnastic maneuver in front of Rebbe to get him to laugh. Apparently it was an ongoing effort on account of the contemporaries of Rebbe to try to get him a little happy. But, says the Gemara, in fact, the day that Rebbe did laugh, when he was brought to laughter, it wasn't a good omen. Asya Puranusa La'alma. It actually brought about Puranus, misfortune to the world. In fact, we have this back and forth between Rebbe, who would warn Bar Kapara, please don't get me to laugh, and Bar Kapara, who deferred. Amalei Bar Kapara. So Rebbe, in fact, tells Bar Kapara, Loi Sivdichan, please, don't make me laugh. V'yaviv nalach, and I will grant you a gift. Arba'in, 40, gravy, a measurement, chiti of wheat. Please, control yourself, hold yourself back. I want to keep my seriousness, and I will give you 40 gravy chiti. Amar lei, Bar Kapara responds, Lech simar, you'll see. The chol greva, the ba'ina, any measure that I need, shakil, and I'll take as much as I need. Some explain that Rebbe's intent was to sort of buy him out. He was a fellow person who had ability to be misameach people. He says, how much do you earn from doing this? What's your annual salary? I'm going to pay you out. I'm going to buy you out 40 measures of chitim, and please don't engage in this anymore. So Bar Kapara responds by saying, look, I don't know, it's my family's parnasa. I can't guarantee that 40 is enough. I'm going to take whatever I need. It's a sort of a comical back and forth. Shakal dikula. So Bar Kapara takes this large basket, dikula rabba, chafi kufra, smears it, coats it with tar to seal up the holes, and overturns the basket over his Bar Kapara's head, wears it like a mask, and walks into Rebbe, hiding behind this mask to actually get him to laugh. And he goes and he calls out to him, Leicha li mar, please mar, feed me, meaning provide for me. We had a deal. The arbain gravy, give me the 40 gravy that you promised me. Arbain gravy chiti dirashina bach, that I have a claim against you, meaning that you owe me. Oh, so that surprise encounter with Bar Kapara, pulling off that mask and making this outrageous claim. Achach Rebbe, it brought Rebbe to laugh. Amrleis, Rebbe complained to him, I already warned you not to get me to laugh. Amrlei lav az hartach, haven't I warned you? Not to get me laughing. Amrleis, so Bar Kapara says, what can I do? It's parnasa, chiti derashina, the chitim that you owe me, kana sibna, I'm coming to take, and this was the end of their comical discussion. Amalei Bar Kapara lebarte the Rebbe. Rebbe had a daughter who was married to this fellow Ben El Osha, which we're going to see soon in the Gemara. And Ben El Osha was very wealthy. Bar Kapara wanted to give a little musar to Ben El Osha's wife. Look, don't get carried away with your money. Keep mindful of what's important in life. Raise your children to Torah and mitzvahs. So therefore, he started like this. Amalei Bar Kapara lebarte Rebbe. So Bar Kapara turns to Rebbe's daughter, married to this wealthy fellow. Lemachar, come around tomorrow, at the wedding of Reb Shimon, your brother. Shasina chamra, I will drink wine berikuda da'avuch, with your father Rebbe dancing, uberkirkana de'imach, and as well as your mother dancing and getting involved in the celebrations. Okay, so he told her there's going to be a show coming tomorrow. Ben al-Asha, who was Chasnei de Rebbe, the son-in-law of Rebbe, Chasnei de Rebbe Hava, he was Rebbe's son-in-law, V'asher Gadol Hava, a wealthy man. Az b'nei levehilula de Rebbe Shimon b'Rebbe. So Rebbe invites his son-in-law to his son Rebbe Shimon's wedding. Amalei bar kapar le-Rebbe. They're sitting at the wedding. Okay, it's time for a little musar, a little badchanus. And Bar Kapara took the opportunity at a wedding when people have to be warned against getting carried away and getting overwhelmed with Inyani Olam Hazeh. Figured that was an opportune moment to drive home some important points in Avodas Hashem. Amalei Bar Kapara, he tells the Rebbe, "My toyeva." If we look through the Parshias of Arayos, we find something interesting. It is only by Mishgav Zechor, relations between man and man, that we find that the Torah repeats the word toyeva, domination, over and over. By the Parsha Achri Mois, which warns against these activities. Again, by Parshas Kedoshim, where we have the Oynish, something unfound in other instances of Arayos. So why this repetition of the word toyeva, specifically in this type of immorality? That was a question posed to Rebbe. Rebbe tried to answer, Kol de Amali Rebbe, de Hachin hu toyeva. A suggestion coming from Rebbe to explain the meaning and the significance of toyeva, Parcha, Bar Kapara, was refuted by Bar Kapara. This doesn't work, that doesn't work. Amar le Parsheat. Rebbe asks him, okay, I'm stuck. Could you explain? Amar le, so Bar Kapara gives him some conditions. Okay, sure. But on condition that Teisi shall come to Vischi, your wife, Tirmili not lachas, she should serve me one glass of wine. Ramile, so she did. Amalei Rebbe, then he turns to Rebbe. We're not done. Kum rekoili, please dance before me. De'emerlach, hachi. De'emerlach, this way I'll be able to tell you the pshat. Okay, so he followed the instructions, they were dancing, they had the wine. Hachi amar Rachmana, let me explain to you what the Torah means. Toyeva. Toyeva is an acronym, a joint, multiple word. Toye atabo. Toyeva. Toya, you are straying. Atabo from the Isha, meaning why are you getting involved in the Ish, the Zechor is totally unnatural. Why are you instigating this type of desire? You should stick to the Isha. Okay, that's Pshat in Toyeva. The Torah is highlighting the fact that these things are not natural. And then Farshim, the Maral explains the whole concept of the attraction between the Ish and the Isha is totally unnatural. It's only Lakim Hamin, the whole physical interaction is not really something which is consistent with intelligence and rationality. It's totally, some sort of interesting physical encounter which doesn't really, make that much sense. But Hashem sort of, arranged all these things, the yoifi of the Isha, the fact that she has the ability to trigger the Isha's desire. That's all done for the sake of the ultimate purpose of perpetuating the Doiris. But, as Bar Kapara explained, Toya Ataba, Mishkav Zechor is totally unnecessary, unnatural, and the only reason a person would have a desire is by instigating these desires, and that's what the pasuk is trying to tell us. Toya Ataba is totally unnecessary. Why are you straying from what's normal, from what's natural, the Isha? Okay, Lukas Achrina, came the time for the next kais, the next course. Amrlei, once again, Bar Kapara poses a question, again related to Arayos, again highlighting the message at a wedding, highlighting the point of the need to minimize our interaction with Olam Hazeh, lest we get carried away. Amrlei my tevel. So this is a pasuk which describes the Isha interacting with an animal, and the Torah refers to it as tevel hu. What does tevel mean? Amrlei kinyan kadma. So once again, they were back and forth. Rebbe was stuck, and he proposed that Pakapara suggest the answer. Amar Leis, Pakapara answers, well, we have a deal. Ibad li, do for me the imerlach, so that I will tell you. Basically, let's go over the same process. You serve me, get me the wine, dance. Avad, in fact, Rebbe and his wife followed the instructions. Amar Le, Pakapara stuck to his end of the deal, and he gave them the pshat. Tevel hu means, Tevel hu? Question mark. Is there a seasoning in this activity? Meaning, is this type of interaction with an animal desirable at all? Tavlin yeshba, is there some seasoning in this dish, so to speak? Is it interesting? Is it enticing? Really? Mishanya hadobia, this interaction with the animal is so different and exciting. Mikulhan biois, from all other interactions with man. Why are you getting involved with an animal is totally nonsense and worthless. Amarle, next question. Umay zima, what does zima mean? Describing an isha who's engaged with other men. Amarle, again back and forth. Ivid kinyana kadma, you'll have to do for me like you did before, the wine, the dancing. Avad, he followed suit. Amarle, Rakapara responded with a pshat. Zima, once again, is a joint word. Zoi mahi, this isha interacted with many men. She's mixed up. We have no idea where the children are coming from. Okay, so this was Bar Kapara's presentation at the wedding of Reb Shimon, the son of Rebbe, and this was meant as a strong musar to all those present. Lo yachel ben el shah lemisbal. Ben el Shah was sitting there and he couldn't tolerate this sort of disrespectful presentation. Putting Rebbe, his father-in-law, in this position of having to accept from Bar Kapara, having to dance and to do all that. He took offense at his father-in-law's zilzal and his father-in-law's disrespect. Come v'nafag. So in protest, he got up and he left. He stormed out. Huv into Semitaman. Him and his wife left the wedding. My ben el Shah. This ben el Shah, a fellow who was a wealthy fellow. How do we see an expression of his wealth? The sanya, as we find in the Brisa, loy lechinam, not for naught, not for nothing. Pizer ben el Asha, esma isav. This ben el Asha spent a lot of money, but not for. Didn't throw it out, in the garbage. It was a purpose. Ela laharis ben tasperes shel kohen gadol. Used his wealth, amongst other things, to display upon himself this professional haircut that the Kohen Gadol would have. And this was something very unique. The Chsiv, Kasaim, Yichsemu es Rosheim. The Kohanim Gedolim would just have a thin layer of hair which would just barely cover their heads. Tana, we learned in a Brisa, Ke'en Lulyanis. It was like a chain, like a hook and eye. It was like a layered haircut. Maidul Yonis, what does that mean? Rabbi Yehuda Tasparti Chidasa was a unique, one-of-a-kind haircut. Hechidami, what did it look like? Amarava Roish Shal Zeh, Bitzadi Korish Shal Zeh. It was layered. So you had basically a clear, head, no hair, except for one layer running across. And you had a layer of hair going forward, and the tip, the top, the Roish of that layer would reach the Ikar, the bottoms of the next layer. So it was a perfectly layered haircut. And some Mepharshim learned a very interesting point, that there was a message here, a message of humility. You're wealthy, or you're a Kohen Gadol. Keep humble. Roish Shalzeh, as high up as you get, to the tip, to the eclipse of society. Remember where you come from. Bitzad Ikra Shalzeh. Remember your origins, your humble origins. It's all about Hashem and who created you. Vainot spiritual Kohen Gadol, and this was exactly like the Kohen Gadol had. We know the Gemara Sanhedrin says that the Melech would have a daily haircut, Melech b'yafyei techzene necha, to appear royal and well kept. Kohanim hedyotim would do once a month to avoid having overgrown heads. A Kohen Gadol would take a trim once a week in honor of the new group, the new mishmar, which would come into service. He would have to present himself respectfully. One person appears as always respecting himself. That earns him respect from others. So looking kempt and looking put together would earn him that respect. And he would have this trim, this tasper's Kohen Gadol, fixed up once a week. Okay, a fellow says, I'm going to keep away from tavshil, a cooked dish which is eaten with bread. He is mutter in dalas, a certain gourd, haramutza. What does that mean? Ma dalas haramutza. We have two shittas. Amar Shmuel, kara, a gourd, kar kuzoi, a certain variation of a gourd, which the Mefarish, the Rashi learns here, would not really cook too well, and therefore was not considered a tavshil. Rav Ashi Omar, dalas hatmuna beremetz. Dalas haramutza, remetz is hot ashes, hot coals, and it would be cooked, dry heat in there. And again, this isn't really a proper cooking process, and therefore does not constitute tavshil. So rather than representing a certain variety, it was a certain method of cooking, so to speak. Eisvi Ravina Ravashi, how can you learn as such? We have a Mishnah, a Brisa, Nechemya Omer, Delas Aramis, a certain type of delas, which is actually he delas hamitzris. You should know you can't plant it together with another type. It's kilayim. It's considered a mixture in Yavanis, with a delas Yavanis, which is a totally different strain, and it's also kilayim with imharamutza. Oh, to Yufta, it's clearly a certain type, a certain strain of delas, which is a kasha on Rav Ashi and a raya to Shmuel, that delas or ramutza represents a certain variety, a certain type of pumpkin. Says the Mishnah, I make a neder to keep away from something produced in a pot, ein osir el mimaser or sachta. I must keep away from something boiled in a pot, something totally made in a pot, hot potatoes, cholent, etc., rice, porridge, cereal. Omar koinim ayor likedera shani toyim. It makes a neder from to keep away from something which enters a pot, something which experiences even some cooking, even though it isn't necessarily totally completely produced in a pot. Also, keep away from anything which uses the pot's services, even though it's not fully entirely made in that pot. Tanya, we have a brisa which discusses 3 different types of expressions in terms of Nedarim. Hanoider min hayored l'kedera. A fellow says, I'm going to keep away from anything which enters a pot. Now, it seems from the Ran, the derech with certain dishes was to cook them first in the pot, to sort of heat them up initially. Phase 1, phase 2 would go into an ilfis, which is sort of a frying pan to complete the cooking/frying process. So again, a fellow says, I'm making a neder from yored l'kedera, also beyored l'ilfis. So you have this food which was first slightly cooked in the pot and then transferred to the ilfis. It is now in the ilfis. He is usher in that. You know why? It's in the ilfis. It's not in the kedera. Why am I usher? The answer is, it was in the kedera. Shekfar yara the kedera, koydem shiyara the ilfis. It had been in the kedera before the ilfis. It is included in the neder. Contrary to a fellow who says, "Min ayored the ilfis," I'm keeping away from something which will be in the ilfis, and he has a food which was taken into the kedera, but it's on its way to the ilfis, but not yet there. Is that usher? No. Mutter. Biyur the kedera. Because it was not yet in the ilfis. Next category. Min ha-na'asa. Na'asa means it was completed and produced, like Olam HaSiyah, the conclusion of Hashem's creation of the world. Min ha-na'asa. B'kedera. I'm keeping away from something totally produced in a pot. Mutter b'nasa b'ilfis. He has something which was initially in a pot and then taken to the ilfas for completion. He's mutter in that because that's not called nasa. But kedera, it was not concluded, it was not finished in the kedera. Nasa ilfas. But let's say he says, I'm keeping away from something which is going to be produced totally, entirely in an ilfas. Mutter b'nasa b'kedera. So once again, he has this thing which is now in a kedera, and then going to be taking into the ilfas. So even though it's already in the ilfas now, it doesn't matter because it was completed. We're speaking, let's say it was totally completed in the kedera. It is mutter because it's not called nasa be'ilfas. Now we have something relating to an oven. Hanoider min hayored l'taner. Another from something which enters a taner. So typically, yored is a more inclusive, broader term, but not by taner. Yored l'taner means something which is physically pasted into the taner as dough is pasted to make bread. So yored l'taner is specifically limited to ein asher el b'pas, only bread. V'im amar kol ma'asa taner olai, something which makes use of the taner's services, anything which is placed on a taner, asher b'chal anasam b'taner, you must keep away from anything which makes use of the taner's services, such as food in a pot which was cooked on a taner. Says the Mishnah, Mina kavish, I'm keeping away from something pickled. Ha-kavish. It's almost like a noun. The classic, something which is typically pickled. Ein asur el min ha-kavish shal yarak. That pertains specifically to vegetables. who were generally pickled. It's compatible with their, with their constitution, and it keeps them preserved. So the classic kavush is specific to yerek, to vegetables. But let's say it says kavush shani toyim without the hay, or according to the second pshat in the Ran, because he added the word shani toyim, I'm not going to taste it. That's more inclusive. It includes even other pickled items. Asr b'chol kvushim. The same when it comes to shalok, something heavily cooked. I mean, ha shalok with a hey hayadia, the known shalok that's typical to meat. Einoi asr element shalok shal basar. But without the hay, shalok shani toyim, asr b'chol shlukim, all overcooked foods. Amali Rav Acha brother of Avi Rav Ashi. I have a question. Suppose he didn't say hey, hakovish. Amar dikovish. He added the hey, the dalad, substituted that for the hey. Mai, how would you understand that? Or this shalik. What about that? Mai. The tzali. Mai. The maliach mai. Those are going to be mentioned in the next Mishnah. Heichad mashma. How would you interpret this? Is it referring to the typical shalik? Is it like hakovish? Sorry, the typical kavish like hakovish? Is dalad like a hay and limited to yarak? Is dalad like a hay and limited to the basar by shalak? And when it comes to tzali, ditzali is like the hot tzali, which is basar, or dimaleach is like the hamaleach, which is dog. Question which we leave unanswered, tipoy. And as we said, minat tzali with a hay is something which is typically roasted. Minat tzali shel ene asr minat tzali shel basar, only roasted meat. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. What about tzali without the hay? Tzali shani toyim asr b'chalat tzloim, all roasted items. Mina hamaliach, the salted, something which is typically salted. What is that referring to? Fish, herring. Ene asr maliach shel dag. What about maliach, the generic maliach, shani toyim, asr b'chal maluchim, all salted items. Now what about types of fish? Dog, dogim shani toyim. If he specifies dogim, that's a reference to all different types of fish. Asr behen being doilim, being tanim. You can't partake in large-sized fish, which are referred to as dog, which you typically sell individually, dog. And it also includes bein ktanim, small-sized fish. That's why he said dogim, which are typically sold in bunches. Bein meluchim, whether salted. Bein tfelim, whether unsalted. Bein chayim, whether raw. Bein mevushalim, whether cooked. But they have to be intact. Umutar, but he can partake in a crushed or ground fish dish. With taris, a certain type of fish. Tunina, some say it's tuna fish. Terufa, if it's crushed to ground, that is mutar to eat, because that's not called dug or dugim, which are referring to fish intact as opposed to crushed. Ubetzir ubemurios, likewise you can partake in fish brine, bemurios, fish oil, fish juice. Those aren't really intact fish, right? But let's say he makes another from tzachna. Tzachna, the Ran says, are small-sized fish, like perhaps sardines, which are sometimes partially crushed. He makes another from tzachna. Then he's asur even in crushed fish, which are an element present in tzachna. Asur b'teres trufa. In that case, he can't partake in teres trufa, ground fish. Umutar b'tzir b'muris, but in fish juice is mutar. But if he says anoidim b'teres trufa, I'm going to keep away from this fish dish. Asur b'tzir b'murias. In this case, he may not partake in anything, whether whole fish, crushed fish, or even the fish juice, which are part and parcel of this teres trufa arrangement. But the Ran is gurs mutar b'tzir b'murias. Apparently, according to the Ran, even the teres trufa reference is a reference to the fish meat, whether whole, intact, or crushed, but not to the fish juice, which is sort of a different element, a separate entity. Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Lazar Omer. If he says dog shani toyim, asur b'gdolim, that refers to large-sized fish. Umutar b'ktanim, but he can partake in small-sized fish. But if he says daga, it's like a mini fish. Daga shani toyim, asur b'ktanim, umutar b'gdolim. He's asur in small-sized fish and mutar in large-sized fish. The Ran brings the Yerushalmi. What is considered a large-sized fish? The size of a litra, a certain weight, a certain measurement. But he says it's all a matter of the common reference, the minig hamadina. What is classified as large and what is classified as small. What if he covers both bases? Dog and Daga Shani Toyim. In this case, it covers everything Asr Bein B'Gedolim Bein B'Ktanim. And the Ran explains what's the Chiddush here. Don't think he's retracting, he's being Chayzer, he's backtracking, going from large and then going back to small. No, he's actually trying to include both elements, both classes, both categories. I have a question. How do you know that dog is a large-sized fish? Do you have a source for that? Sure. Hashem prepared. Hashem sent a large fish, a dog gadol, to swallow up Yoina Hanavi on the way to Nineveh. And the Torah adds the word gadol to dog. Apparently, dog is large. The pasuk says, "Vayispalel Yoina el Hashem elikav me'ad daga." Yoina davens to Hashem from the belly of the daga. Apparently, even daga is large sized. We're assuming it's the same fish. Halakasha, that wouldn't be a kasha. The answer is, it was a different fish. Dilma palte dog gadol. Perhaps the large fish spit him out. Ubali dog katan, and then a small fish came along and swallowed him. So in fact, daga is perhaps that smaller sized fish. And in fact, the Yalkut Shemaina brings that this is in fact what happened. Hashem saw that Yoina was very comfortable in that large-sized fish, which was very, very roomy. Hashem wanted him to daven, to feel connected to him. Hashem decided to transfer him to a female fish. So according to the Yalkut Shemaina, Daga is a female fish, and it was filled with unborn offspring. In fact, it was a magnanimous amount. It was 365 times 10,000 little fishies in there, and it was quite cramped. And that prompted him to daven unto Hashem, get me out of this cramped space. In any case, it was definitely smaller, whether the accommodations or the entire fish was smaller to begin with. In any case, daga certainly is a smaller fish. Says the Gemara, okay, Ella, what about the next pasuk in Mitzrayim? Daga ashabi oir mesa. The fish in the Nile died. Daga is only small? Only the small ones died, not the big ones? Interesting that the Chassam Sefer asks, why did the Gemara wait to the end of the story that the Makas Dam, turned everything into Dam and killed out all the fish? We have a similar reference in the beginning, where Moshe Rabbeinu warns him that the Daga and the Ur will die. Why didn't we bring a right from that pasuk? Said the Chassam Sefer, because perhaps, if only for that original pasuk, you would think, sure, only the upper layers of the Nile would turn into blood, which would preempt any access to water on account of the Mitzrayim. But in that case, only the surface swimming fish would die, but the deeper ones, the dug, the big ones who sweep deep down, perhaps would survive. So perhaps daga over there means the small fish who stay closer to the surface. That's why the Gemara proved from the next pasuk. V'adaga ashabi oir mesa. And the pasuk continues. V'yivash ha'yoir v'lo yochlu Mitzrayim lishtes mayim min ha'yoir v'yi adam b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. It all turned into dam from top to bottom. Even the lower depths of the water, bodies of water, would turn into dam. In which case, all fish died away. So when it says v'adaga, it means all the fish, not just the small fish. Everything died. Ella says the Gemara daga mashma g'doil mashma k'tan. In fact, when you look at the psukim, sometimes daga is a small fish, sometimes it's a big fish. But when it comes to Nedarim, we follow the general formula u'b'nedarim halech achar losha b'nei adam. It's all about communal expressions, and in losha b'nei adam, dag is a large fish, daga a small fish. So bottom line is we have several expressions, 5 in total, when it comes to fish expressions in the Nedarim context. Dag, large fish. Daga, small fish. Dagim as well, they're sold in bunches, small fish. In all these instances, Taurus Terufa, the crushed ground fish, is not included. But if he says nether from Tzachna, which is a sort of mix, these small sardines, some whole, intact, some crushed, it includes even crushed fish, Taurus Terufa, but does not include fish juice. If he makes a nether from Taurus Terufa, in this case, he would be usher in crushed fish, and the Ran explains, within the tzachna itself, he would be usher in the crushed portion as well, but not in fish which are intact. Okay. Hanoidim in tzachna. What happens there? He's usher in crushed fish, but not no juice or brine, that's not included. Amar Ravina Ravashi. What about Amar Harelai Tzichin Mai? As Ran explains, 5 lines from the bottom. Amar Harelai Tzichin Mai. Would this change the equation? Would this also include fish juice? Why? Mi mitzer betzir ubemurius. Oilai, or maybe not. Why is it that small pickled or salted fish are called tzachna? Little herring, why? Little sardines. Because the juice that comes there, the brine produced by this concoction, is foul smelling, has a strong odor. A strong odor coming out. That's how it gets its name tzachna, right? When we boil it, here comes the question. Suppose he specified tzichin. Is that more like zeroing in on the source of the odor, meaning the juice itself? Perhaps tzichin is more direct. So the source of the odor, the juice itself. So tzachna doesn't include juice. But tzichin, source of the odor, the actual troublemaker, maybe that includes the odor as well, the juice and the oil and the brine. Mai, the Gemara concludes with an unknown tibai. We leave it as a question mark. Bottom line is, we have that kaparo. Tried to get Rebbe besimcha. Rebbe wasn't too happy about that. We have the whole back and forth Musar Shmuz during the wedding, from which Ben Elisha stormed out in protest. We have his very unique royal haircut, in emulation of the Kohen Gadol's haircut. We have the definition of Dalasar Mutza, a gourd which wouldn't really cook well. We have definitions on Masa Kedera, Yerda Kedera. We have all these items, Kavish, Shaluk, Sully, and Maliach, 4 in total. It all depends how you say it. With a Hey prefix, the known, the classic Kavish, which is only Yaruk. Shaluk is Basar, Hatzali, Basar. Hamaliach is Dag. Well, without the Hey, it's universal, includes all variations of salted, pickled, overcooked, etc. We have various expressions of fish Nedarim, and the conclusion regarding the Tzichen question mark. You should always have lots of Atzlacha. We should always have lots of Siyat L'Shmai. Amen.